that feeling of like the first preview isn't the worst feeling. The worst feeling is press night.
Molly Hewitt-Richards is an actor from Derbyshire who graduated drama school in 2024.
And I would always prepare answers that varied from big dreams, but then I'd also choose something that was a bit more close to home, something that I could probably get to in my couple first years of being a graduate.
Since then, she has performed at the Regents Open Air Park Theatre, the Bridge, and soon at the Soho Theatre in a piece of new writing.
You know, presentation is pretty similar to an audition. The difference is it's so rooted that you haven't even got to think about it.
In addition to this, Molly has appeared in critically acclaimed show Code of Silence.
Molly Hewitt-Richards, welcome to the Actors Actuality podcast. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for asking me.
No worries.
No worries.
Samuel, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
We'll just dive straight in. So we wanted to start about getting an agent. What is the sort of information that you gathered before you went into your agent meetings, and what were the questions you expected to be asked?
So I was very nervous for agent meetings. I feel like, I don't know how you guys felt, but it feels like the end if you don't get it right, and it's, you know, it's very stressful. So I used research as something to kind of be prepared and kind of settle down my nerves. So I really went ham on the research. I kind of knew everything about the agency, the agent I'm talking to, what their clients have been in, and kind of if they have any like policies or anything. So I kind of just knew as much as I could about all the agents that I had meetings with. And then, yeah, I think that because of that, there was a lot of questions that I'd answered myself because I'd done so much research. But I found having a question, even if you knew the answer, was great, because if they say, do you have any questions at the end, and you're like, I'm okay, thanks, you know, it kind of comes off a little bit. So I would ask questions that sometimes have the answer to. A good question to always ask, not the first question, but is about their rates, because you kind of want to know if you are in a position where you get to choose between agents. You know, rates might come into play, whether they take 15, 12, 10%. So it's good to ask that, but maybe not the first question. A question I like to ask was what their communication was like with their clients. So obviously some agents may just be like super emaily, but if you kind of are someone that needs more casual texting or reassurance and calling, it's nice to know kind of where they stand on how they communicate with their clients. For questions they asked me, I would say a classic one would be, what kind of shows do you see yourself? What kind of roles? And I would always prepare answers that varied from big dreams. You know, you want to start with maybe a big dream. I would always say Adele biopic film, because that kind of shows off that I can sing and that I love Adele and films and everything. But then I'd also choose something that was a bit more close to home, something that I could probably get to in my couple first years of being a graduate. So, you know, you love of Shakespeare or something. So I would say that I would always prepare answers that were like a mixture of the big dreams and then things that potentially more achievable as the partnership between agent and actor. Sometimes I'd prepare like why would I be a good fit for their agency, which is kind of a hard question and not one that I got asked loads, but then I think, you know, sometimes I did. So I would kind of use the gaps that they had, and if I fitted into the gaps, I'd kind of say why that would be a strong thing. But yeah, agent meetings are weird because once you're in a meeting, you kind of know that you want to be with them, and they kind of know that they want to be with you. So it's like, yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic in that sense.
Yeah, I remember when I went to a few, I wasn't sure if I'm still meant to be selling myself or if it's a case
Yeah,
of just ironing out the details and like whether we fit. It's kind of
totally.
different for each one, really, I found.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you. Moving on to some questions about professional theatre jobs. You've done some pretty big shows in the last couple of years. What have you learned in these rehearsal processes for Midsummer Night's Dream and for Secret Garden that would be good to pass on to any student rehearsal room?
That is a good question. So I would say a big difference between drama school and then like a professional room is the first day. I think that, I guess from my experience in drama school, the first day is exciting. You get to meet the director and you do a table read. And depending on kind of your process in drama school, you may not have read the play. You may have just read the scenes that you're in, and you kind of, sit down and give it a read in front of everyone, which is super casual in drama school. But then on your first day, or my first day in a professional job, we get to the table read and there's like everyone on the creative team. There's the head of wardrobe, head of costume, there's someone from lighting, there's like everyone you could possibly meet, all are there in one day to hear the play. So I'd say the big thing is come in prepared for that. Like, come in, you've read the play, you've obviously multiple times, you're coming in with ideas. So yeah, basically that table read is where you kind of make your first impression. So, you don't have to come in with an Oscar-winning performance, but come in with some strong ideas and the ability to just give it a good go in front of everyone, because you're making a first impression. I'd say on that first day also, there's so many people with so many names and so many jobs. Just try and remember as many as you can, because there's always the big circle and they're like, hi, I'm Bob and I'm from marketing, and it's like you might never see them again until the show's open. So I guess try and remember as many names as possible. Another difference would be rehearsals never run over. You always get your lunch break, you always get rehearsal. I mean, my experience, because of the company manager, you're always running on time. So that's always like a nice difference to drama school. Yeah, I think that's probably it.
What you said about the table read really fascinates me, because I always feel paralyzed to make a choice, because it's like, oh, what if I make a stupid choice? But you're right, it's just about making an offer. It's like a first impression. I think that's really important to notice.
Yeah, 100%. That's how I think it's like going into a table, like you say, you want to make choices, you want to be relaxed and easy and ready to like make a good impression, throw some choices out there. And I think that's a good thing to say actually for drama school productions. What you're saying about in a professional room, everyone really tries, and it's like quite a big thing. It's quite nice to take that over into a rehearsal room in a drama school. I think like treat it with that same level.
I mean, the difference is at drama school is you don't pick the play, you don't pick the character. Whereas when you're doing a table read, you've already done all the work. You've done the character work because you've been in the audition. So a lot of the work's done for you, but it's just the shock of the first day being so big. I think that's probably one of the differences. Yeah.
Can I ask, when you started these big rehearsal processes, how many of the lines had you learned? If you learned any of them before the rehearsal started, how much character work had you done? Before even starting rehearsals?
It depends on the size of the character, I'd say. If you've got a humongous, beefy, liney character, you want to start learning. Well, in my experience, you want to start learning before you step into the room. I try to learn the scenes for the lines for the scenes we're rehearsing. So if I know we're going to be doing that scene, I kind of want it off book, because there's not always masses of time to do scenes over and over again, and I work best off book. So I try and have it ready to go for each rehearsal. Not so much like the whole play on the first day. You could do that, but I've not done that, in my experience. But I try and have it off book for when we rehearse, the specific scenes. And then I'd say the character preparation, you've done most of it already because of your audition process. You've done the reading of the play, and you've kind of created your version of the character to present to show to a director and hope that they like it. So you've basically done a lot of the prep first, but then I guess any scenes or any bits of the character you haven't covered in auditions, I personally would look at before the first day. So I'm quite heavy on the prep personally.
Hello, we hope you're enjoying today's episode of the Actors Actuality podcast. We just want to take a quick moment to talk to you about the Actors Actuality newsletter.
The Actors Actuality newsletter comes out twice a week, Monday and Friday. Subscribe below. Talking of character preparation and being in character, I'm really fascinated to know how much did the character change from day one, considering all the prep you do, to opening night?
I think it depends on the project. For me, on Midsummer Night's Dream, the character was quite far from myself, so I had to do a lot of preparation in order to reach that in an audition, with accent and physicalization and all that kind of thing. So I say that the presentation of the character is pretty kind of not massively different to the character I presented in an audition. The big difference is consistency. So I can do this character because of all the rehearsal and really finding and rooting the character. I can stay in the character and do that character for 2.5 hours. You know, no matter what kind of day I'm having or how the show's going, because you know that character so well, it's consistent. So like maybe the character's, you know, presentation is pretty similar to an audition. The difference is it's so rooted that you haven't even got to think about it. So it kind of, if that makes sense.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. So you're at the Bridge backstage, opening night, about to go on. What are you feeling?
There's honestly no feeling like it. It's like a mixture of excitement and fear and pride. Like when you're just stood there about to go on, not knowing really know how it's going to be received and how it's going to go, because it's like the first preview, so you've basically run the show a couple of times and you're about to like do it. I just feel such gratitude because I'm about to do something that I've worked on and wanted to be since I was a child. Like how many times have we all stood in an Amdram, you know, show or the side of a drama school production ready to go on, having that feeling. It's that, but it's like without so much of the nerves, because you know you're meant to be there, you know that you deserve to be there. So it is honestly just the most incredible feeling that like money cannot buy. Like it's just like such a thrill. With our production, we would start with something called the Psalms, which is where we all dressed in kind of conservative nun attire and would sing these like psalm songs in like 4-part harmonies to a drum in the audience. So we started every show as kind of similar characters in the same world together, like this close to an audience member, having to be super serious. So once we got through that, we were all together, we knew it was going to be fine. But it's just that the first song, getting through that, you kind of know you're onto a roll. But yeah, that feeling is, I don't know. I mean, I suppose with us, we were a revival. So a lot of the heavy lifting had been done for us. We knew it was going to be a cool show and it was going to be fun because it'd been put on before and it had got such like great like response. So a lot of that fear had kind of gone away because you know it's going to be fun. It's, you know, it's a Nick Hytner show. It's Midsummer Stream. It's like, so a lot of that kind of fear has gone away. So it's almost just like pure adrenaline and excitement and like, yeah, it's so exciting. And I guess that feeling of like the first preview isn't the worst feeling. The worst feeling is press night. That is the one where you're like, okay, cool, we've done it for a week or so and it's time to do it for, you know, your family, for the director, for all the press and everything. That's the real tricky one. But once you get through that, smooth sailing.
Do you have a pre-show routine or any tips or tricks that helped you stay relaxed, stay focused?
It kind of depends on the show that I'm in, because it kind of heavily depends on who you share a dressing room with. So my first dressing room, I shared a dressing room with someone called Bridie, who is a brilliant actress and a great friend of mine, and we would do something called Goblin Time, which sounds crazy, and it kind of was, where we would spend like 30 seconds doing the craziest things we could do physically, vocally, and then we'd know if we could do that and be that weird, whatever we do on stage is not going to be as weird as that. So it was like a weird, like getting rid of all the nerves, just being connecting with your body and stuff. So we would do that together. In Midsummer Stream, we used to play games before we went on to do the Psalms. That was quite calming. A lot of games that we'd done at drama school that I'd like bring in. I'm trying to think if there was anything routine I used to do. I say used to, it was like 7 weeks ago. Just got such a bad memory. Gosh, I don't know. Do you guys have any?
Varies. I think you're right. It does vary per.
Yeah.
It just varies,
show,
doesn't it?
yeah.
You know, I'm not like kind of, you just kind of grow into what it is.
Yeah.
Like we had a couple people who would slide down the halls every day in their tights. Like that would be their pre-show thing. Some people listen to a specific song that gets them into the character. Me and my friend Jam, who was in Midsummer Dream as well, we'd start before we put our makeup on, dunking our faces in bowls of ice water as like as a reset. That was something that we did that was not specific to the show, but just kind of reset you for like the day. But yeah, I think it depends on the show and who you're with, and for me, it kind of develops over the time. It's not so much like something that I specifically do. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun and chaos, especially at Midsummer Dream.
I find it so fascinating how everyone's so different. Like some people need to lock in with heavy rock music for 10 minutes. Some people can just go from talking like this to suddenly doing it. Some people need to go in a room and walk about with headphones on, turning into the character for half an hour. Like some people are going through their lines, man. Like it varies and is so completely different, which I think is so wonderful.
I'd say one thing for me is I would always get ready really quick.
Right.
Like I would be half an hour cool. I'm costume mic'd. Whereas some people, we've got the 5 minutes, we've had the call, they're in their boxes, they're listening to music. Like the stage manager's being like, for me, I have to be ready early. Like for me, preparation, all that stuff, that's really important to me to calm my nerves. So I guess that's something I would do. It's like I'm the first. People are literally having their tea in their like normal clothes, and I'm fully dressed as a nun, ready to go. So I guess that's one of my things, is like being prepared.
Cool, thank you.
Did you get any pieces of Shakespeare wisdom from your co-stars during Midsummers?
You know, I didn't so much get Shakespeare wisdom. A lot of the stuff I learned is kind of relevant to acting in general. Something that Nick Hytner was big on with the mechanicals was don't try to be funny, which I think we've all heard at drama school. When you're doing a comedy character, don't try and be funny, which in my head is like when you're doing a funny bit, if you're trying to be funny, it's not funny. That's like kind of how I understood it. But he means it in like a literal sense. Like as a mechanical, obviously we kind of were doing some of the more comedy things, and we did that. That was our kind of role in Midsummer Dream. And that kind of makes you think as an actor, okay, cool, I need to be as funny as possible at all times because I'm the funny character. But he says that is kind of exhausting as an audience. He likes, rather than having an audience chuckle for 10 minutes, like, oh, it's kind of funny here and a bit funny here, that gets exhausting. They feel like they owe you the chuckles because you're constantly putting in gags and gags and gags, and it kind of, that's not sustainable after 2.5 hours. So he likes to take things out that are funny, take that bit out, take that out, which makes this bit hilarious. So rather than having 2.5 hours of people chuckling away, that he likes it, that it's like, take this bit out, make this a straight bit of acting, and then this bit's really funny. So it's like you're not exhausting your audience. They don't want to be clapping for 2.5 hours and laughing because it's not sustainable. So basically, don't try to be funny is literally take out some of the funniness in order to make the other bits funnier, which kind of makes sense, but it's like something that you can take to other like comic roles, that you don't have to always be like the funny one. You're okay to take things out in order to make, you know, other people and other bits even funnier. I would say another thing that I learned from my co-stars or from other actors is that you deserve to be there. I think I've like not struggled, but like being a grad and starting super early, I sometimes feel like I'm like having to tell everyone I'm a graduate and, you know, all these things. But it's like people tell you who have been in the industry for 10, 20 years that you're here because you're meant to be here, and you don't need to apologize for that. So just own your space, and like, yes, it's okay to acknowledge that you're like new in the industry, but it's you're there because you're meant to be there. So yeah, be excited for being a graduate, but don't apologize for it, basically.
Awesome, thank you. We're taking a quick pause from today's episode to talk about our collaborators for this season, Actor and their Pay What You Can scheme.
Actor have kindly given us a special Actors Actuality exclusive link for you guys to increase your chance of being selected for their Pay What You Can scheme. Whether you're looking for headshots, voice, song, or monologue reel, Actors Pay What You Can initiative means you'll get the same quality and care as a full price reel, but for a price that you can afford.
Of course, the Pay What You Can scheme is very popular, so by using our link, you'll be being referred by us, giving yourself an increased chance of being selected for the scheme, plus you'll be giving us a bit of a kickback, which always helps.
I actually got my first ever headshots with actor back in 2021 when I was a young boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's it, to be honest. That's all I had to say. Check out their link in the description. It's a great initiative.
Moving on to postgraduate and acting life, how do you keep creatively fulfilled between projects?
I mean, there's the obvious things like going to see plays. That's and I don't just mean like the West End ones, like fringe stuff. Go and see your mates and go and see stuff at Conti. Try and keep that alive. See films. So that's like the obvious thing to keep the speaker spark alive for me. But also, like using auditions as that spark. Like if I have an audition, I'm trying to put my whole heart into it because it's something I can latch onto and commit to. So that kind of helps. Also, just I have a brother who is an actor as well. His name's Oscar Hewitt-Richards. He's going to be famous. Everyone remember that name? And he's just graduated and he's doing super well. And yeah, so I get to talk to him about what he's doing, and that helps me kind of feel motivated in this gap before I start something new. So yeah, just chatting to people who are working and just listening to the stuff that they're doing and living kind of vicariously through them. Even like helping other people with tapes. I'm sure you guys do that, when people, housemates and all friends are getting tapes through. Like go and do them because you get a chance to act. You get a chance to potentially give people notes if that's what they want. And it is like creatively fulfilling to sit there and do cold reads and act with people. So doing tapes with other people is something that I really enjoy doing. And then, yeah, just chatting to people that I've been in shows with. So I live with someone who I just did Midsummer Stream with, which is great, which means we get to reminisce and like talk about those memories and those feelings. And sometimes just talking about them is enough to get me through and to like make me excited for getting to feel those things again, I'd say.
Yeah, I think it's so important to involve yourself with it. Especially we've just moved to London, and we were saying on another episode actually that we didn't move to London just to work 40 hours a week, go there, come back and do nothing creative. Obviously it's knackering, but like you said, you've got to go to the cinema, go to the theatre, and all types of theatre as well, and commit 100% to every audition. Read, like you were saying, read in for other people's auditions. It's worth its weight in gold.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
100%.
Final question.
Okay,
we have a final question we ask on this podcast, and it's a secret question that we haven't said it before. If you could give one piece of advice to a young actor entering the industry today, what would that be?
I would say, if you truly, truly, truly love acting, don't give up. Which now sounds simple, but I mean, don't give up in 6 months. Don't give up in a year. Don't give up in 2 years. Keep going. If it's truly, truly what your heart desires, what your dream is, just because you haven't booked in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, doesn't mean you won't. Like if you truly, truly want it that bad, just don't give up. Do not give up. Just keep going and know that if you put the work in and you keep championing yourself, that one audition could change your life. So just keep going.
There's nothing more noble than pursuing your dream and believing in yourself. Absolutely.
We get one life. We might as well try and do something that we dream, and it's worth it. It's amazing.
100%. Awesome. Thanks so much.
Molly Hewitt-Richards, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I have a question for you, guys, if that's okay.
Go for it.
Let me just reverse the role. If you could have any actor or anyone on the podcast, who would it be?
I've got an answer.
So it doesn't have to be an actor?
No, it could be anyone. It could be anyone. It could be anyone in the industry or anyone in life, to be honest.
Okay, you go first. You
My mind went to Riz Ahmed. Just because, one, I think he's like a fantastic actor, but two,
wicked.
He makes his own. He won an Oscar for writing a short film.
Yeah.
The Long Goodbye. It's on YouTube. It's great. I just think someone that's encompasses all, both writing, directing, acting, is so fascinating. And you can tell he really loves the craft. So I'd love to go do a deep dive with him.
That would be amazing. I'd watch that.
Yeah.
What about you, Sam?
Mine would be the film director Richard Linklater. Like all his films are very much about like dialogue and like authentic, like real people and like sort of fairly simple things happening, but turning them into a film. And I just think it'd be fascinating to talk to someone who writes scripts that are mainly just conversations, and how he works with actors to make the drama in those. That'd be mine. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks
I hope
so
that
much.
some pockets of wisdom somewhere.
Yeah.
I've really appreciated chatting to you guys.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Molly. Really
Thanks so much.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Actors Actuality podcast. You can find all our important links in the description below.
Such as Instagram, website, and the all-important affiliate pay-what-you-can actor link.